To the local markets now, and an almost 1.5% rise on the All Ords. Martin Lakos from Macquarie Private Wealth has all the details. Well, Martin Lakos, other Asian markets don't seem to have been convinced, but the Australian market seemed to have been saved by that stunning late reversal on Wall Street.
Yeah, and stunning it was. Wall Street, or the Dow Jones, was down 251 points at its worst, turned around 400 points to close up 150. The main catalyst being an article that came out in the Financial Times overnight, or in their afternoon, stating that European finance ministers are now looking for a coordinated approach to recapitalise European banks. Now, that may well be a precursor to a partial default or an acceptable default by Greece. The bank's taking a haircut, but the recapitalisation already taking place, so the banks can carry that through. So markets like that. Now, to some extent, you might say, well, it sounds a bit of the same, but there's definitely a news cycle taking place that's impacting markets, and clearly there's a great example of that. Our market responded. We're up 79 points on our open. We closed up 54. There's absolutely no doubt the big underperforming sectors such as energy materials outperformed today. Energy up 3%, materials up 2.7%. Other sectors pretty well moved in line. And while we were the best performing market in the region, we had Hong Kong closed today for Golden Week celebrations, as is Shanghai closed all week.
What about the higher than expected retail trade sales figures? Looking at the retail sector, was there any impact there?
Yeah, look, it was a good surprise, given that also this is a read through August, and obviously through market volatility, you think that consumer confidence may have weakened up 0.6%, better than expectations of 0.2. So just give you a quick idea of how share prices reacted today. Wesfarmers down 3 cents, Woolies down 23, David Jones up 4, Myer up 5, and JB Hi-Fi down 15.
Just back to the US for a moment. With all the focus on Europe, are there some green shoots on the US side that are being overlooked, perhaps?
Yeah, look, Tiki, it's really interesting. The market, understandably so, very consumed with what's going on in Europe. But in the last week or so, we've actually had some pretty surprisingly good numbers coming out of the US. Now, one set of data is not going to resolve the world's ills. But at the end of the day, in the past week, we've had improvement, an upgrade in economic growth for the June quarter at 1.3%, up from 1%. Jobless claims have fallen 37,000, which is good news. US consumer confidence for this month came up at 59. That was better than 55 in August. Auto sales for General Motors up 19% and for Ford up 9%. And lastly, Institute of Supply Management, an indicator on expansion in manufacturing in the US, all rose. So that's not a bad series of numbers, just in case people are concerned that the US may be falling into recession.
Nice to have a bit of good news. Martin Lakos, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Tiki.
And to the other major movers on the local share market now. And Martin mentioned Wesfarmers. It's announced a new boss for Target. Dean Rogers was the chief executive officer of retail giant Sears in Canada. Leighton Holdings added 3.5%. The company's Singapore offshoot has won a $518 million contract for Iraqi oil export facilities. Western Areas rallied 13% after it said drilling results had been outstanding and it may increase nickel production. And debt-laden Centro Property has been placed in a trading halt pending a court verdict expected tomorrow on its planned restructure. Turning to currency markets, and the Australian dollar is around 95.5 US dollars and has been edging higher during the day. On to the commodity markets now, and in New York, oil is at 77 US dollars a barrel and up following a surprise drop in American stockpiles. Bargain hunters have been driving gold back up after a fall overnight, and copper's climbing for the first day in 6, reacting to the hope that the US central bank can boost the economy.